Hey guys, Road Dog Just Politics here, back with another video. We are approaching the end of January, and I, in this video, wanted to ask you guys a question and sort of start a debate if you want. I was interested and wondering about basically the state of the world at the current time. I mean, I was thinking about what's going on in America at the moment, what's going on in the UK in terms of politics, what's going on in North Korea and in Europe, things to do with Trump and Brexit and Tory Britain and the EU bureaucrats and trying to get a deal with the UK with Brexit and things like that. And I mean, I just think, what is the world coming to? I mean, it seems to be regressing on such a scale that it's detrimental, it's going backwards, and I just think, like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do about it? Because it's really depressing watching, just seeing how we're just downgrading ourselves and just letting politicians get the better of us and just steamroller their way over the people because they know, well, I've got money in my pocket and I can bribe my way and I can influence people, tell them what to do, and then I'll get to the top and I don't care about anyone else. And that seems to be the way that it's going at the moment, which is really depressing. And I just wanted to get you guys' opinion on that sort of stuff going on. So, for instance, in the UK, we've had the NHS crisis, which I talked about in a previous video, about how the fact that it's not getting the funding that it needs. It's got given about £2 billion over the course of the next 4 or 5 years, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong on that number, but the NHS is asking for £5 billion over the next 10 years, 5 or 10 years, yeah, it's not getting given that money. It desperately needs, in dire need of, people are dying in corridors. There are makeshift wards, and it's really awful. It's been described as third world conditions, basically. That's our NHS, National Health Service, free at the point of delivery, and it's being treated like, it's disgraceful. This government is treating it disgracefully, and if you want to know more, you can just go to YouTube and see a video of, type in NHS and you'll see. But it's just disgusting, and you've got a report out this week that crime is on the increase, knife crime is up, and it's just like police numbers have been cut by the government over the past few years, with Theresa May as Home Secretary. Now she's Prime Minister, doing an absolutely awful job. Her government is a shambles. Brexit is going terribly, and it's just, public services are being continued to be cut. Schools are having to fork out more money, asking money from parents. Teachers having to get money from their own pockets to get glue sticks and resources and equipment for their own schools because they too are being underfunded. And I mean, like, and in America as well, we've just seen on the news that excuse me, the DACA bill, the I think it's deferred action for childhood arrivals. It's last weekend there was a government shutdown over this because the Democrats wanted to bring it up and sort of reinvigorate. Can we please have this one thing, the Democrats ask, because at the current time Republicans basically own the Senate, the House and the presidency, the White House, so that they have full control over every single office. And the Democrats were like, no, you can't have this bill passed. We won't agree to it because we're in control and we have the power. Democrats are weak. They caved twice on this issue, and it's a popular policy. There was a CBS poll done this week that said 87% of people who voted said that they were in favour of DACA and in favour of Dreamers. So basically, the children of immigrants who have come here to stay, to live, work, go to school here, contribute to society, actually, like, protect them and say, you can stay here. They asked for that for the government, and the government said no, and they were like, okay, we'll go home. And it's so weak. They're meant to be an opposition representing the people. That they are a party that at the moment is polling quite well. Like, people despise Trump. People absolutely despise the Republicans, Mitch McConnell, and all of these people. Just like, what? They are just degrading the country. They just racial slurs, hatred towards immigrants, black people, anti climate change deniers, and against progressives, against net neutrality as well. They want to push that, like, against net neutrality as well, and Medicare for all, like single payer healthcare. They're against that as well, and it's just like, why? This is a basic right for people. Why wouldn't you let people have a healthcare as a basic right? Oh no, because we're in favour of these private companies who lobby us, and they'll give us money so that we can actually pass these really regressive bills instead that will favour us rather than the people who vote us into power in the first place. It's fucking disgusting. The Democrats are weak. They are paid to lose. They are paid to lose. So why the fuck should you go out and vote for them? They don't represent you. They will not work for you. A poll, 87% of people wanted DACA and wanted the Dreamers to stay in the US and be protected, and they still wouldn't fight for you. They will not ever fight for you. So why give them the time of day? And that is exactly the same on the opposite side, in the UK. Why should you give the Conservative Party the time of day? They do not give a shit about you. Based on all the policies we've seen so far that I've just explained, funding cuts in public services to the ambulance service, the police, the fire service. We've seen that with Grenfell, the way that Theresa May reacted to Grenfell. Wouldn't even go out and see residents. Wouldn't even go out and see them. They wanted her to be there. They wanted her to be concerned about what's gone on, and she wouldn't go out and see them. The way that she dealt with that was disgraceful, and she continues to make cuts. She says that the NHS has got record funding, and yes, it has, because the population's gone up, obviously, but it needs more funding, and you won't do it. You will not do it because you don't care. You don't give a shit about people who vote for you. You just don't. And it's disgraceful that this is where we're at the moment. This is where we're at, where we've got a president in the US with the IQ of about 16, not a brain cell to rub together. And we've got a madman in North Korea who's threatening nuclear Armageddon and blow the world up. I just want to tell you this because it's just where we are at the moment. Why do we keep voting in these bastards? Why? They clearly don't care about you. They would rather fill their own pockets, line their own pockets with cash, and do exactly the opposite of what we want them to do, because they don't care about you. Who do you have £5 billion? I'd very much doubt it. Who does? Oh, the massive corporations, the Exxon Mobils, the Goldman Sachs of the world, who influence these politicians, these corrupt as fuck politicians who will not serve you. They'll serve their corporate donors, and then they'll create policy that works in favour of those people rather than you. And that is what is going on. That is the reality of what is happening now. And it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting that this is where we are. Let's make more oil rigs. Let's do away with environmental protections. Let's do away with more social security cuts so that you feel less safe in your home, in your community. Let's just keep cutting and cutting and cutting, and have more cuts to corporation tax, more cuts for the richest rather than for the poorest, because don't give a fuck about the poorest. If you don't have money, then don't give a fuck about you, to be honest. Just go and die. And, we've had people like Toby Young and Ben Bradley, who have just been making these just abhorrent comments like, oh, poor people should just go and have vasectomies because they should no longer be allowed to breed, because if they're unemployed, then why should they be allowed to have kids? And it's, what the fuck says that? Who the fuck says that, man? Oh god, it's just, I can't. We need to make a stand now, because this is ridiculous. We can't let this go on and on and on and keep voting them in because it's better than what? Better than a progressive party like Labour or Justice Democrats, for example, in the US, who actually give a shit because they're not bought and they're not corrupt and they actually have the interests of people who vote for them at heart. They're interested in social care, they're interested in social security, funding the NHS and looking after the children, and cutting taxes for those who earn above a certain threshold, tax them more. And why is that wrong? Why is that so bad that you will not vote for that? It's just literally a case of, we're letting the richest people amongst us get away with murder. Literally. And I'm also referring to what's going on in the Middle East as well. The shit show that is the Middle East. Oh my god, like those poor people in Syria, in Iran, in Iraq, in Israel that are just suffering so much at the expense of, corrupt leaders in their own country as well as in the US, because they've had their grubby mitts on the Middle East for decades. It's fucking vile. And we need to put a stop to it, because it's gone on for long enough, to be honest. When is it gonna stop? When are we gonna put our hands up and say, no, you can't keep treating us like shit? It's vile, it's disgusting. Just stop. People should know this. People should, stop burying their heads in the sand. Stop reading the Daily Mail. Stop watching Fox News. Stop getting brainwashed. And the truth is out there. We just need to make a stand and tell them, I will not stand for this anymore, because you are taking advantage of us and you are just taking and taking and taking. And you selfish, greedy bastards. Just stop. It needs to stop. So, yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts on all of this, just because it's just been in my mind for a few days, and yeah, I'd love to hear your comments, so put them down at the bottom, and I'll read them and try and reply. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Road Dog Does Politics, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye!